All right, we are trying this again. I'll be watching the chat to make sure that doesn't happen again. I had a weird issue where it said my streaming software was sending data faster than YouTube could receive it. That would be a good issue to know about before I try to make this happen on the main channel, that's for sure. Goodness. I hope you guys can hear me, and I hope that this goes well. That stream had an issue after about 40 minutes. My father-in-law is in my house right now watching my son, and he started texting me right about when I had that issue asking for my Wi-Fi password, and so that might have I don't know if he tried messing with something. So he said he didn't touch anything, but it's kind of a weird coincidence. Yeah, I have some awesome in-laws and my mom to watch my son while I am out here doing my crazy experiments a lot of the time. I don't know how people have kids without having grandparents around. I'm gonna move my mic a bit closer because I don't want the noise from this thing to be too overwhelming. Let me know if that's bad. Let's All right, so currently I am mixing in the sodium sulfate to this mixture, and let's measure out. I'll measure out some of the some table salt. How much did we need here? 10 grams. So we need 10 grams of table salt per batch. So 40 grams total. Oop, a little much. All right, 40 grams of salt. Add this in. And then we need 6 grams of xanthan. Switching to my smaller scale for the xanthan here. All right. Probably should have let that tear for a little bit longer before I measured that out, but that's all right. So 6.24. A little bit extra, but that's okay. This is not the critical part of the experiment so far. Now, a trick that I did not talk about in the main video: add a little bit of alcohol. Add a little bit of alcohol to xanthan gum before actually mixing it. If you add in xanthan gum, Or if you add alcohol to xanthan gum, you can make a slurry which does not clump once it hits the water. Otherwise, you really end up with a lot of clumps when you go mixing in your xanthan. Or you can, anyway. It didn't end up as much of a problem for me when I was first experimenting with these PCMs, but after posting my video on the subject, a lot of people had issues with this. And so this is the secret. You mix the alcohol into an alcohol, or you mix the xanthan into some alcohol, isopropyl, ethyl, doesn't matter. You make a slurry with it before adding it to the water. Make sure we get as much of that out as I can. Let me actually, I'm going to flush this cup out with some of this liquid that's in the mixer because the xanthan is not wanting to come out of it. Probably should be more careful with liquids around my cool new streaming board. Don't need to be messing that up so early. I'll be trying to watch the comments to see if we have any other technical difficulties. I've definitely learned a lesson on the Patreon live streams that I need to check the comments regularly. I think I went about 20 minutes during one of the live streams where my audio was muted. But fortunately, you guys kind of carried on by yourselves, those of you who are patrons. All right, and I'm just going to let my PCM mix over here for a little while. All right. So let me I'm going to grab something to tell you guys about here. So here is my box of PCM samples. These are all the samples that I made. It's loaded full. It's probably about 30 or 40 different PCM samples that I made, different experiments that I did. And you can see if I bring in this camera here, this is what can happen to a PCM if it is left to cycle without agitation. And you can see how there's crystals that have separated out into it. That's what that's the phase separation that occurs. And the way that you fix this is agitation. So if we allowed this pack to fully melt, maybe warmed it up in I don't know, about as warm a water as you can get from a tap, and then agitate it, those crystals would redissolve and we'd recover the performance of this PCM. But yeah, without agitation while a normal PCM is in use, you end up with this phase separation, and that is yeah, that diminishes the effectiveness over time. I thought in this box I had a thing that I used to test these PCMs, but I was mistaken. That's really what I was going for. I'm looking for, I have a heat pad somewhere. I don't know where I set it. Oops. Come on now. Well, I guess I don't need my. I guess I don't need the thing I was just going to show you guys. I was looking for a heat pad. I use a Reptile tank heating pad. I think I just spotted where it might be. A Reptile tank heating pad to actually test my PCMs. I found that using the PCM bags as a pillow liner, when I was doing that in the sandwich size bags, I found that if you slept really still during the night, it ended up that along the edge of your head, and then where the PCM pack sticks out and you're not actually on top of it, where it's being warmed by your head, and like that boundary between the warm area of the pack and the cold area, that's where a line of crystals will form. And that's the like most reliable way that I've found to actually cause the undesirable phase separation in a PCM pack, is to have a boundary layer between a hot and a cold area. And at that boundary, it's like there's almost infinite numbers of heating and cooling cycles happening, as just minor fluctuations in temperature cause that boundary to move backwards and forwards. And so it's a really rapid way to test the effectiveness of an additive to prevent phase separation. So in order to replicate that, I somewhere wherever it went is a Reptile heating pad, which I set out on a block of foam, and then I'll have my cooling packs overlapping, half on the Reptile heating pad and half in open air, so that there's a boundary layer between the warm side and the cold side. And then I measure, after a period of time, how much crystallization occurs at that boundary. And it's lost, I guess. Oh no, here it is. Found it. I had it set aside for another experiment that I've been doing. So here's my Reptile heating pad, and I'll take this in order to test the PCMs, lay it flat on a table like this, and then put the PCMs something like that. Oops. Come on now. I'll put the PCM overlapping the Reptile pad like that in order to initiate phase separation. And yeah, that's a really good way that I found to actually test the effectiveness of a PCM and additives to prevent that phase separation issue. And so ideally the goal for this is that, the goal for this is to develop PCMs which are more stable overall so that we can use them for building regulation and things like pillow liners and stuff like that, where they might end up staying still for long periods of time, and you could end up with this undesirable phase separation and degradation over thermal cycling. Yeah, Patrick, thank you for the feedback for the public live stream. I actually have 2 pages of like bullet points that I want to get to in the public live stream. It will be more structured than this. This video does not have an agenda at all, at least not a structured one. Besides just testing my equipment and getting SLS out there in the public domain as an additive to improve phase change materials. Hopefully. I mean, even if it doesn't work, I'm still getting prior art out there, but sorry, I'm missing your guys's comments. I'm not able to read them all as they're coming in here, but I'm seeing some of them. So I don't really want to keep mixing this on the stream with the mixer, because I think it's a little bit loud and annoying. Even if it's not for you guys, it is a little bit for me. So I think that this mixture is agitated enough for actually loading into packs and seeing what might happen here. So you can see that there's a little bit of a few little blobs of xanthan that didn't quite go away, even despite making the alcohol slurry to begin with. That's actually, I didn't expect that. I've had good results with the alcohol before, but I don't know. I guess I didn't, for whatever reason, didn't prevent all clumping this time, but those would go away in another 10 minutes of stirring or so. And meanwhile, they're not going to cause any issues to my further tests. So what I want to do is I want to divide this equally into 4 different batches and then mix in some additives. So all right. Let's pull out 4 cups here. I'm really a little bit concerned about that connectivity issue that I had with the stream earlier, causing me to restart. I really hope that doesn't happen on the main channel for my public live stream. I really have that planned out, that stream planned out, and I want it to be a really complete video of making Senko Hanabi. I guess if the stream ended up having issues, I could always edit it together after the fact and make it into a non-live, upload it as a non-live stream. But yeah, I have plans for the Senko Hanabi video, which will be the stream on the main channel. I have plans to make that basically a Senko Hanabi masterclass. I'm going to teach almost everything I know about Senko Hanabi. I'll be demonstrating how to make the stick type variation, which I've never demonstrated before. I've never talked about how to make the stick variation Senko Hanabi before publicly, and yeah, it should be a good time. I'm measuring out 300 milliliters. using 300 milliliters of solution in each of these tests, and I'm I'm dripping extra into all my stuff that's down here in my workbench's cubby. Let's see. Jason asks what stand and mount I am using for the DSLR. I assume you mean this camera here. The stand that I'm using for this camera. We'll switch back over. The stand that I'm using for this camera is actually a boom microphone stand. It is not a camera stand. Yeah, it's a boom mic stand. Just a regular mic stand with a boom arm on it. And I have had these for 15 years. I put a little, this is my close-up camera, so I can't really get you a close-up shot of this while it's on it. Actually, I can show you on my microphone. Here. I'm using the same stand for my microphone. And you can see right here, we have a boom mic arm coming right here, and it goes to this, come on, camera, focus. Really having trouble. Okay, it goes to a little L bracket, and then a bolt holding it to a, holding this to a swivel ball head. And that's basically what I have on the stand that this camera, that's basically the same setup that I have this camera mounted to. Just a boom mic arm with an L bracket, a piece of angle iron with a couple holes drilled in it, and then a camera ball head. I have a little heavier duty one on this stand than I do on the microphone. All right, last little bit of solution here. Oh no, I better have 300 mils. Come on. It's 300. It's just shy of 300. That's okay. I'll use this as the control. I won't put any additives in that, so that'll be fine as it is. Being a little lower quantity isn't going to matter. It's right at 300 anyways. Okay, so doesn't matter. All right. And we got some dirty glassware here to clean. Okay, let's see. Let's label these guys. Sharpie is somewhere in here. There they are. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, totally normal. Thank you. Thanks for the streaming advice. I'm not using OBS, although I might switch to doing something like that. I'm actually using the OC Go Stream streaming deck, and this is I'm actually streaming right from the board, so I'm not going through a computer for the stream. I haven't actually looked into how to connect the board to a computer to run it through OBS or something for streaming, but yeah, I don't know. This is the first time that I've had some kind of weird data issue with the stream, and I assume it's because my father-in-law was trying to connect. He was asking for the Wi-Fi password, and he wanted to update some of his banking apps or something. I'll have to actually make sure that on Saturday my wife will be home. Have to make sure that she doesn't use the use the TV or anything during the time that I'm streaming. I'm just waiting. They're running fiber internet in front of my house right now. I'm just waiting to get access to that, because currently I have Verizon's 5G wireless, and it's cheap, but it's cheap. Yeah, so fiber will be great. I'll be able to actually stream. I don't know how the video quality looks to you guys right now, but I think it's kind of mediocre. Yeah, all right, so I have, I'll turn these, here, I'll switch cameras again. I have 4 different samples here of PCMs, and I'm going to make some notes. I need to record what I'm doing, because I am very prone to forgetting what my experiments okay. Patrick, I do see your comment. Thanks for mentioning that I can prevent traffic except for the board. I'll have to look into doing that. I assume you can do stuff like that through a router, but I am not a tech guy. So I usually have to Google everything. Okay, so we'll label this SLS tests. All right, so I am going to, yeah, I will ask ChatGPT, Patrick. My name is Ben, by the way. Any of you who didn't know my name, I've been trying to start the videos on my main channel recently with my name. I've actually been working a lot on adjusting the intros to my videos, and it's worked out well as far as views and retention go. My last video did not perform particularly well, the giant bubble video, but my bubble videos never really do as well as when I do an in-depth scientific thing. Same thing with Senko Hanabi stuff. I mean, I am really excited about Senko Hanabi. I think it's really cool that I was able to play a part in the invention of the first non-flammable firework. But yeah, they're just sparklers to a lot of people. It's just like, no, people don't understand what the big deal is. But Senko Hanabi are cool, man. All right, let's see. So this will be the control. Number 2, let's see, what do I want to add? Let's try 10 grams of SLS. That's kind of a lot, but I think it's okay to add a lot because, I don't know, I'm not trying to optimize anything here, as I mentioned earlier. I'm just trying to see if it has an effect. And then we'll go way down. We'll go to 2 grams SLS. And for number 4, what do I want to do for number 4? I think I will do, you know what, I'm gonna do a test with off-the-shelf detergent that contains SLS, because I want to see if these work. Pure SLS powder is a little bit hard to get your hands on. I mean, you can get it on eBay or Amazon by a few sellers, but it would be really nice if I could make a version that uses off-the-shelf stuff. So I will do, we'll add 50 milliliters of what detergent? We'll do the Palmolive Pure and Clear. And that is between 10 and 20% SLS. They don't advertise the numbers exactly of the contents of SLS in that. In the detergent, but it's approximately 10 to 20%. And that's all. I don't really need to know the percentage if it works. because if I'm doing it for the off-the-shelf stuff. Okay. All right, so these are the tests that I will do. We will have to add 10 grams of SLS to number 2, 2 grams to number 3, and then 50 mils of the Palmolive Pure and Clear to 4. And then we're going to bag these up, and I will put them on my heat pad in order to test and see if the phase separation is reduced. Again, if you are not following what we're doing here, I'm trying to use SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, in order to improve the stability of phase change materials, because they tend to degrade. They tend to degrade over time. After cycling many times, phase change materials can lose their heat storage capacity, and this is an idea that I have to improve the longevity and stability of PCMs, and I want to make it public so that no one can patent it if it works, which is still up in the air. All right, this SLS is it's not a hazardous chemical by any means. Oh, this is a crappy bag they put it in. Oh, it's heat sealed. I can already feel, even though it's heat sealed, I can already feel a little bit of the dust got into the air. So, it's a SLS is not a dangerous chemical, but it is a very irritating one. It's like the purest dish soap you can imagine. It's the active agent in dish soap, and it's the really harsh one that, like in baby soaps, they try to reduce it because it can cause skin irritation. Yeah, it's not exactly fun to breathe in, so here we go. Not fun on the mucous membranes. Boy, 10 grams is a lot. maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have quite. Woo! I'm glad I got the ventilation going. That was a big plume of this stuff. All right. Yeah, 10 grams on the money. All right, we're going to put this in, what did I say, number 2 for this? I'm going to pop that in there. I expect it's going to dissolve pretty readily. It should not clump at all by any means. All right, measure out 2 grams now for test number 3. Oh, too much. Man, and I hit 2 grams right on the money too. That's pretty amazing. All right, let's get the SLS put away. Whew. Yeah, it's dustier than I thought it'd be, but it's really nice having this fume extractor here to suck the dust out. Oh, forgot I had a box for it. Yeah, I'm really excited to actually have that SLS to use for. I'm really excited to have the SLS to use for bubble mixes. I have a feeling it's going to work really well in a bubble mix to have that pure SLS powder. And then I need a beaker to measure out 50 mils of the detergent. All right, 50 mils of palm olive pure and clear. This should be 10 to 20% SLS. Just using arbitrary quantities of this stuff for these initial tests. And if any of them seem like they, give good results, then we can actually delve into optimizing this stuff. I actually have a potential sponsorship opportunity coming up. I've not reached back out, but there's a company that makes multivariate experimental testing software. They're kind of the key player on the multivariate experiment market as far as like laboratory testing software to analyze the results of various experiments. And they were interested in being a sponsor. And I kind of like that idea. I would love to think more about multivariate testing. I did a video about it, I don't know, I guess probably a year ago now. Yeah, it would be nice to learn more about multivariate testing for my own purposes, and I think more people should know about it. And so I'm excited to have the opportunity maybe to work with a company that, I like working with sponsors that I think are actually going to be useful for people. And multivariate testing is definitely one of those things that way more people should know about. If you have not seen my video about multivariate testing, I think the video is titled Change Multiple Variables at Once to Optimize Anything or something like that. Or it might say multivariate in the title. You got to watch that video. If you don't know what multivariate testing is, it's amazing what kind of information you can learn about an experiment by using some really clever experimental methods. And I know that in that video, I only scratched the tip of the iceberg. And companies that develop the software that I'm considering taking on as a sponsor, the software can analyze stuff. You can do like half a dozen experiments and get data that tells you how whatever you're testing will react, like way outside the bounds of what you actually started with. Or way outside the bounds of the data that you should, reasonably be able to get out of an experiment. You can learn a lot more information with clever testing procedures. Anyway, I'm explaining, this is the kind of thing that I usually write a script in order to explain myself. I don't even attempt under normal circumstances to explain such complicated subjects without a script, because I have no idea what words come out of my mouth sometimes. All right, here are the 4 tests, and now resealable freezer bags. Four bags. Here, let me just I've made an error. I haven't been reading the comments recently to double check that the stream is going well. Okay, good. Glad the stream's still going well and comments are coming in. On one of my previous streams, I was using my phone to monitor comments, and I didn't realize that the video was still playing on my phone, but the comments were not coming through, and so I missed all the comments in the second half of the video. And I just ended up rambling on to myself for about 45 minutes, not realizing that people were asking questions and stuff. All right, I'm labeling these bags. For the, to make sure I keep track of what's what. All right. So you can see this one, which is number 4. It's interesting. This one is significantly cloudier than the others. So the additional ingredients, it would be interesting if this one does better than the others, because so let's see, the ingredients to this, I picked this detergent to have on hand in particular because the ingredient list is quite small. So we have water, we have SLS, and then we have loramidropropylbetadine. Okay, I don't know what that is. I Googled that, and it's another surfactant of some kind. So in the same category as SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, but it's, you know, it doesn't have a sulfate group, so I don't suspect that this will work for the purpose that I'm aiming for in the for the SLS in stabilizing the PCM. We have lactic acid and we have Polaxamer 124. So I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but I assume the Polaxamer is something similar to PEO, some kind of a thickening polymer. All right, here is baggie number 4. I'm so curious about how this is going to work. One issue here that I see already is, so when I have loaded up these sandwich bags before, I like getting all the air out of the bag, and adding detergents causes bubbles, and you can't just, it's not so easy to get air out of the bag when there's bubbles in there. That's okay. No big deal for an initial test. All right, so there's number 4. Here's number 3. Number 3 is sealed. Number 2. I'm curious how many of you have actually made something from one of my videos, whether it be these PCMs. I know Totally Normal has. He did an excellent live stream about it and gave us an update, I think, in the last comment in the last video that they're still working well, or are in the refrigerator for the winter or something at this point, I guess. Nice. Brandon used a PCM pack. I'm so glad you guys have found the PCM packs useful. That was such a rabbit trail, that video. Or I got on these, I got to thinking about these PCM packs as I was, I think I was doing the waterproofing video. Yeah, the last wax waterproofing video, fabric waterproofing. I got thinking about PCMs because I was messing around with a ratio of oil to wax, and that's an organic PCM. Depending on how much oil you put into a wax composition, it will melt at a higher temperature. And I was like, wow, that's I wonder what else could work as a PCM. And so I started looking into it. And it turns out wax is kind of bad. You measure PCMs by their ability to, store energy. Pound for pound, how much energy can they store compared to ice or something ubiquitous like that. And it turns out wax is, a pure wax can be a fairly decent PCM, except it's expensive. If like a pound of wax is a whole lot more than a pound of salt water, like we're making here. The energy density is not all that good. You need very highly refined waxes, like specialty waxes that only have like one chain length of molecule in them in order to actually get high performance PCMs out of a wax material. And that's actually very hard to come by. Like you'd have to talk to an oil refinery and put in a custom order, I guess, for a particularly refined wax. And then their insulation value is very bad. Like wax does not have very high heat conductivity. And so in order to actually get the energy in or out of wax is difficult. Heat transfers through it slowly. And the same is true of salt PCMs. These do not have the best heat conductivity either, but they are better than wax. Let's see here. Yeah, so let's see. The Tracy Bowling made the window screen fan to catch mosquitoes. Yeah, that was another channel called Green Power Science, run by a guy named Dan Rojas. He lives in Florida, basically in the middle of a swamp. And so he captures mosquitoes on his property. He keeps his property free of mosquitoes by putting a window screen on a large fan. And the mosquitoes are sucked into the screen, and then you spritz them with diluted rubbing alcohol or whatever to kill them. And it works amazingly well to capture mosquitoes, and basically only mosquitoes, which is the cool part about it. It's not like a pesticide that kills every insect in in a mile radius. A fan and a window screen only captures mosquitoes pretty much. And it works really well. Patrick, I'm sorry to hear that your PCM separated. I mean, it can definitely happen even in the personal cooling pack form factor. In this kind of form factor, you can still definitely get phase separation. And you're preventing it, or you're counteracting it by moving your personal cooling packs around and agitating them. But I mean, they're still prone to phase separation. And so if you did make the cooling packs and you ended up with phase separation, you can try doing something like putting them into a bowl of moderately hot water, not hot enough to damage the bag that they're in, so less than boiling, but enough that it gets significantly warmer than under normal use, like warmer than body temperature. And then once they are warmed up to, I don't know, 150 degrees Fahrenheit, that'd be like, I don't know, 60 degrees Celsius or something. Then at that temperature, agitate the packs, like intentionally shake them around and stuff until the crystals redissolve into solution, and it should be good as new again. That is a workaround to if you do end up with crystals in the PCM packs. You can redissolve them. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Occasionally, I've made so many of these packs, and I have had crystallization occur in some of them, especially the ones that I've used as a pillow, because that's going overnight with a warm cold transition between the coolness of the part that's sticking out from the side of your head and then being warmed by your head in a different part. You can definitely get some crystallization occurring in that location. Let's see. All right, so what we will do here, let me switch cameras. I'll put this camera over here. You can see the messiness of my workshop. This is my view when I'm recording videos. I'm staring down the barrel of this camera normally. And yeah, this is you guys. That's you. That's you too. It's a weird experience to be a YouTuber and talk to cameras for a living. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to. I don't have a way to take a camera outside right now. Otherwise, I'd take those PCM packs out and throw them into a snowbank to cool down. What did I do with the hot pad? So I need to set up an experiment out of the way here in order to test these PCMs without being in my way as I film my other video after this weekend or on Saturday. All right. Okay. Oops. Here, I'll bring another camera over. Sorry, I know you're going to have a hard time hearing me while I'm over there because the microphone is the wrong direction. I'll try to shout. Yeah, so sorry if you can't hear me very well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my PCM packs and lay them out in a grid on top of this heating pad. And I'm going to have half of the PCM pack hanging off the edge of the pad. and that way we have it cold on one side, warm on the other, and along this boundary line right here, where the PCM pack is hanging off the pad, that's where I'll start to have the phase separation occur if the pack is unsuccessful at preventing it. So I'm hoping that the SLS is going to be the additive that solves this issue easily and without it being terribly toxic. I mean, like terrible for you to ingest. Hello? Hello?
Are you filming? Can we come in?
You can come in. I'm live on the internet. You're not on camera right now, though.
Oh, okay. We just thought I'd take you.
My father-in-law and my son are dropping in here.
Who is that you're working with there?
I am live streaming to my B channel.
Oh, okay.
Hi, buddy.
Thought we'd just come out and see the weather. I bet your dad's busy workshop here. My goodness.
I'm working on making specialty ice packs. All right, you guys want to meet my son, my father-in-law? There's my father-in-law.
Oh,
Desi, turn around.
Look here, it's too much to look at.
Buddy.
Look at that. Who is this? Hi.
Hey, buddy.
He's like, what the? I want to destroy. I want to come in here and touch everything. Destroy, mission destroy.
All right.
Okay, well, there's a lot in here you could cause real big trouble. There's nothing but trouble in here for you. Okay, I'm gonna take off.
All right,
Come
thanks.
out and visit.
Oops, did I have the...
What?
No, go ahead. Yeah, thank you. I didn't realize that I had the picture-in-picture bubble on this whole time with the same camera being reflected back on itself. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So I'm glad that the camera was, or that that you guys were able to hear over there. So I have the ice packs sitting on this board here, and I might put a piece of foam. Over just the center section, over the just where it overlaps with the heat pack. Let me walk back over there. So these packs will be warm from the center outwards. And being wintertime, it should not be difficult at all to get the exterior of these packs to freeze and the interior over the reptile heating pad to stay warm and molten. And like I was saying, this is an experiment that I came up with from my wife and I sleeping on these cooling packs in our pillows. And as the warmth of your head heated whatever part of the pack you were laying on, and then whatever part was not under your head remained frozen, the boundary layer in between the two tended to be the place where crystal formation would be most severe. And so this is the test that I came up with to develop a formulation that would be resistant to that crystal formation, because I really have I have a goal of actually making these into a product eventually and being able to sell a PCM cooling pack that is like a pillow liner, a seat cushion, People have tried to develop things like that in the past, and some have succeeded. You can find some PCM companies online that sell cooling vests and stuff, but they're very expensive, and I don't think they're made as well as they could be. I can't say that for sure. I haven't personally purchased one because they're so expensive. But yeah, I think that this is something that is really worth figuring out a good way to make these reliable and so that they last a very long time. Yeah, I think we're well on our way, and I'm hoping that I'm really hoping that these three do better than this one. I'm going to leave it like that. This is a 24-watt heating pad, and it comes with a little thermocouple that I put underneath, in between the PCM and the heat pad, and that regulates the temperature to whatever I set it to. So we're gonna cook those PCM packs at about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, just above body temperature, for a couple days, and we'll see if one is more resistant to crystallization than the others. And then I'll have to put them through actual real world testing and see if they work well as a pillow liner in my own use case. But in any case, yeah. I don't know where to go from there. That is pretty much the experiment. And now at this point, we have made sodium sulfate based PCMs with a goal of hitting a body temperature or a sub body temperature freezing point, and using SLS as a stabilizing agent. So I do declare that is an invention which is now in the publicly available. So yeah, thanks, Patrick. I know I did not it was a little unexpected for my father-in-law to walk in, so I don't know. I did not have that set up real well over there. Definitely for the live stream on the main channel, it's not going to be disorganized like this. This is basically, if you are one of my patrons, this is what you have seen me do a lot on these live streams. I basically just jump in and start working on something and stream in the process of trying to actually come up with an invention for a video, because I don't have the time usually to just sit down and do a live stream on a particular theme that is not something that I'm actively working on. I don't actually make any money from doing live streams, and so yeah, this is what the Patreon live streams are about. You jump on and watch me just tinker around in my workshop. And it's very unpolished, and it doesn't have a script, and it doesn't have a storyline to follow. It's just whatever I'm doing that day. And today I just had the particular purpose of testing this live streaming setup. I'm not a fan that I had a kind of a major issue that caused the ending of the previous stream early. Hopefully that is not going to occur again on Saturday on the main channel, and if it does, I guess I'll have to do just what we did here, restart. That would really be a bummer, but that's what I'll do. And yeah, that was the main point. Test the live streaming setup, and then get this PCM additive SLS into public knowledge. Yeah, I can't wait to get fiber internet. I do not have previous to live streaming, I've never had not much of a need to have very fast internet. I don't really do a lot of gaming. I used to when I was a kid, so I don't need very fast internet for that. It's basically if I can watch YouTube and Netflix and whatever, I'm pretty happy. But with this live streaming thing, I would definitely appreciate faster internet. So I'm excited for that. Patrick asked if I could turn on super chats. Thanks, man, for asking. I think I have them. I have them on already on the main channel for my regular videos, and I assume that means they'd be on for by default for a live stream. I don't know if they would. I don't know if they will. Yeah, I don't know. I assume they would be on a live stream also. I don't think I can turn them on this channel because of this channel is actually not monetized. It might become monetized soon if I'll probably hit the view threshold pretty quickly, or that it's a watch hour threshold. Yeah, so I'm not going to. Yeah, you guys are voicing your concerns with scripted live streams. I'm definitely not going scripted. I've done video stuff long enough to know that reading from a script is not a. That's very hard to do live. I mean, I actually do read from a script for my main channel videos most of the time, not all the time, but the script will be a teleprompter, and that's a different animal. That is definitely not what I'm intending for the main channel. I just have pages and pages of bullet points and a general order that I want the stream to go in. So it should be pretty fun, and I'll be able to talk freely with everybody that jumps on the stream. This coffee is good and cold by now. For those of you who stuck around this long, there's something else that I wanted to test before jumping off. I wanted to see how my playing footage from the streaming board that I'm using will work on a stream. So let's see here. I'll give you guys a sneak peek of one of the clips that'll be in the Saturday live stream. So let's pull this up from my channel 15 years ago, me teaching you how to make charcoal.
Now, the wood to be used for charcoal determines what it's going to be good for. A soft wood is typically good for black powder, and a sappy wood such as pine, this is white pine here, is typically good for streamer stars such as tiger tail. And so that is what I'm going to use for this run. I'm going to load up my crucible with this white pine here. Alright, with your crucible loaded up, go ahead and hammer the lid on here, then get yourself a fire going. You can see the smoke being released is very flammable. This is the oils from inside the wood burning off. About an hour in now, and you can see that the fire is still going very hot, and the flame coming out of the top of the can has slowed to a crawl. It is finally time to remove this charcoal. The flame has died. So what I will do is quickly take this out of the fire and put a damp rag over these holes, and that will keep air from getting inside and ruining this brand new charcoal. So now all that needs to be done here is to wait for this charcoal to cool down to air temperature. And here is our charcoal.
I think you should be able to hear me right now if I talk.
You can see if I take a piece of this,
I think this mic is still
easily
on.
snaps in half, black all the way through the center. Now the wood.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that worked, and thanks for letting me know that the levels on it are good. That was a question that I had for playing clips like that. That's awesome. Thanks for letting me know on that one. So I have a whole bunch of clips that I will be playing for the stream on Saturday. I keep saying Saturday. I think it will. I think that is when I will do this. Yeah, that's my plan in any case. I've got some cool stuff to show. But you heard me, but it was low compared to the clip. That's kind of what I assumed, because this mic is the levels on the mic that I'm speaking into right now are about as high as I can get them without introducing a lot of noise, because this microphone is just not made for me being this far away from it, especially, or I've been a lot farther away than this throughout this video, but yeah, so it's kind of the best that I can do at the moment. I could turn down the clips a little bit. But I guess it's kind of better that the clips are a little bit louder than me talking anyway. They should come in a little harder. Yeah, all right. Well, that is what I had for this video. We do not have... it'll be several days before the PCM packs are done being tested, but I'm really excited that the SLS... I'm really excited to see how the SLS performs. And I'm hoping that it does perform as well as the paper that I have been referencing. Here's let me pull up for you guys. So here is the patent that I think that was filed, I believe, by the people who came out with this. Oop, come on now. I can't. Having trouble navigating this. Here we go. Yeah, so this is a patent that came out in order to for the sulfated polysaccharides as an ingredient in PCMs. I didn't realize how many figures there were before you actually get into the patent. Sorry about that. I'll just go over here. So using the DSS. Apparently, some of you had mentioned earlier that sodium sulfate in toothpaste and stuff can give you mouth ulcers. That's kind of interesting, since the sulfated polysaccharide that they use to stabilize the PCMs is actually, its main health effect is giving ulcers in your digestion in your gut, giving you IBS and stuff, and ulcerative colitis and things. So that's interesting that SLS can do that to your mouth. I guess I'll have to look in to see if SLS actually can survive your digestive system, and I wonder if it could have the same effect as these sulfated polysaccharides, or polysaccharides. But if it does, I guess if I found out that SLS did have the same sort of effects where it could be used, where ingesting a good amount of it would induce ulcerative colitis, just like those polysaccharides do, I wonder. Maybe the health concern that I have over using the DSS that they describe using in this paper is unwarranted, because it's I mean, SLS is ubiquitous. It's in every household in a million different products, and if it has that health effect of giving you digestional ulcers, not very many people have that issue compared to how many people use SLS products. And so maybe having, that would not, yeah, I don't know. I don't know really what to say about that, except that if SLS has the same effects as the DSS they use in the paper, maybe that's a more viable option than I would anticipate, for health and safety reasons. I wouldn't be as concerned about it if SLS has the same effects. The logic might be backwards there. I'm sure a lot of other people would say we need to stop using SLS and stuff rather than that DSS is okay then. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too afraid of using dish soap in my compositions with my current knowledge of its safety. Patrick asked if I still read all the comments on my videos. I do. Yes, I do read all the comments on my main channel videos. I don't always see comment replies. That is something that is a little harder to monitor. On a, it's sorry guys, when I talk this long, I get stumbling over my words. It's harder to monitor replies to comments on YouTube. But all right, hang on here. I just refreshed comments because I noticed that I was not getting them. Yeah, some people are definitely sensitive to a lot of different things, and Patrick asked, so is the DSS that they're using in this paper to stabilize PCMs, isn't that off the table because they patented it? It's not off the table for DIY projects necessarily. It's off the table for consumer products. No one can sell any PCMs using a sulfated polysaccharide without licensing it from them, or they can do it themselves. But a patent lasts 20 years at most, maybe 25 years. So it's actually not that restrictive. That patent will be gone in 25 years, and hopefully they'll have made their money off it by then. I felt like it was off the table even for them to use it because of the health effects. Like they patented it, but I can't see something that induces ulcers in your gut to make it into consumer products. I mean, maybe into construction materials, but yeah, that's more what I was talking about. That I don't see them making a profit on it rather than it being off the table for me. But it could be that they will if it's not as harmful as I think it is. I Love Music asked, am I using sugar forms instead of SLS due to health concerns? No. No, I was talking about, okay, you'll have to go back and watch the earlier parts of the stream to get an answer on that one, I guess. No, I am using SLS as a stabilizer in PCMs, and we were just discussing the health effects of SLS compared to a paper that I'm referencing. Thanks, Patrick. Writing in complete sentences does help me. Yeah, I was looking at marketing a product, but I have multiple thoughts going on in my head at the same time for using PCMs. So one of the things that I'm thinking of is actually making a product myself. Another is just the viability in general of using PCMs. And so this research team discovered this DSS additive, which really makes salt-based PCMs much more stable and usable. And so, like in the state that they got to with their additive in the paper, like I think that is a super viable, like from a like functional perspective, it's very viable to regulate the temperature of a building, or in all sorts of different applications where PCMs would be used. That's a very stable end product that would work really well. It's just I wondered about the viability because of the health effects and because of the price of DSS, of sulfated polysaccharides. Although I would hope that the price of those would come down with more commercial uses. Yeah. Yeah. So One of the things that I'm also thinking about with these PCMs, I've grown a lot. I've had a lot of interest in these PCMs in conjunction with the other projects that I'm working on, because if you actually had an ideal PCM pack that did not have these settling issues, you could use that as a cold battery, where something like my radiative cooling paint could be painted onto the pack, or you could make a rigid panel that has a PCM built into it, and it has my cooling paint or a cooling fabric over top, and then rely on nighttime cooling. So one of the radiative cooling coatings that I've developed can get maybe 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. That's like 8 or 9 Fahrenheit below air temperature in the daytime in sunlight. But at night, you don't even need a radiative cooling surface. You can use all sorts of different coatings, like black spray paint or white spray paint, and it can get 30 degrees below air temperature Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is, Celsius, just naturally under a clear sky. If you're not fighting sunlight, you don't need any specialty coatings to get this subambient cooling. And so if you had a PCM pack underneath one of the just ordinary paint and had that under a clear sky at night, that cooling pack, say your nighttime temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, relatively warm, the PCM pack would be cooled to 50 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, way below air temperature. You take that in the daytime, you have a 50-degree cold source that you can bring into your home. That should be below the dew point. You could use it for dehumidification, which is a major issue with passively cooled buildings. Is how do you get rid of the humidity so you don't mold everything? There's a lot of interesting things you can do with PCM packs that are in conjunction with the other stuff I've been working on, the radiative cooling series and all that stuff. So I'm interested in this stuff, and I'm really hoping to develop something that's stable over many cycles without phase separation. All right, everybody, I better get in, see how my son is doing, and go get some lunch. So, hey, thank you so much for dropping onto the stream. This was fun, and I hope to see you all on the main channel on Saturday, probably around noon Eastern time, and I hope to see you then. Don't hold me to that timing. We'll see when I'm ready to start the stream, but it will be hopefully much more polished than this one, and I'm really excited to do a proper masterclass for Senko Hanabi, both the standard paper type and the stick type, which has never before been done. So thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next time.